everything was better. My hair was growing. My nails were strong. I felt like my eyes looked right. My eyebrows were thick again. Like I would have these baby tiny eyebrows. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it. Like, everything is so much better.
Friends, welcome to the Decentralized Health podcast and to episode number 10. Today's guest is an amazing human. Her name is Natalie Boyd. Natalie has been a certified stocked Pilates instructor for 15 years and a certified physical therapist assistant for 13 years. She works out of her home studio in Beechwood, Ohio, and at a corporation called Club Pilates. When she's not coaching her clients, she enjoys spending as much time outside as possible and being very physically active by doing things like snowboarding, running, hiking, biking, and many more things. Currently, she's studying peptides and photobiomodulation patches called LifeWave and how they can be used in conjunction with circadian and quantum practices to heal the body. So friends, welcome to the Decentralized Health podcast and to Natalie Boyd. Friends, welcome to the Decentralized Health podcast and to episode number 10. Today, we have a very good friend of mine who I met on Solar Culture on the show. This is Natalie Boyd. So Natalie, please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I am 37. I live in Beechwood, Ohio. I teach Pilates. I'm a certified personal trainer, and I'm also a certified physical therapist assistant. And yeah, I guess I'm here with you, Mark, to tell you about how I got into quantum and circadian rhythm and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So I think to start it off then, let's give people a background before you got into that. So what was your life like before you found the quantum and decentralized health space?
I was always into working out. Ever since I was a child, always like I started doing Pilates when I was like 12. I think I did the Mariview videos on
That's
TV.
young.
Oh, I was a kid. I was a legit kid. I saw the videos and I was like, it drew me. I was like, that's what I need to do. I need to not teach Pilates, but I was like, I need to do Pilates. Seems like something I would love. So I started doing that. And then obviously from there kind of rabbit holed into going to the gym and working out and blah, 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 blah. Then I went to college I thought I wanted to be an x-ray tech, which could you imagine now?
No.
I would have been an x-ray tech, like in a dark room all day. Like, obviously that wouldn't have worked out. So somebody came along, a little angel, and steered me in the right direction of, getting into personal training and all that. So went down that road. And then obviously that leads into, food and all that, and what food's healthy, what's not, blah, 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 what exercises to do, what not, blah, blah, blah. So that was my life. My life was working out, trying to figure out what foods to eat, what not to eat. You get like obviously the diet culture came in, diet, so blah, blah, blah. So graduated from college in Columbus. And I started noticing like when I was, you graduate high school, you start becoming an adult. And I started noticing like everything I was doing for working out and trying to stay healthy, it wasn't working the same. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's less, I'm not I'm growing up, people say like, not that I was gaining weight, or anything like that. It's just, I just didn't feel like I wasn't where I wanted to be. Like I didn't feel like how I felt. I felt good in high school. I was happy. I was, I just felt really good with where I was at. And then after college and probably during college, I was like, I felt off. Now, granted, I will say like when I was in high school, I was outside a lot more. I was playing soccer. I lived in the country in Geneva, Ohio, where there's, nobody around. And then I moved to the big city of Columbus. I'm now living with two girls who I loved deeply, but they had a very different lifestyle than I did. So they were smokers and they had two cats. My room was in a basement. And so I basically went from living, this outdoor kind of country girl life to Columbus, Ohio, living in a basement with two smokers in the house and working I think I worked at Best Buy. So I was just indoors a lot.
Yeah.
Which obviously, I was like 20, not really realizing. So anyway, all that happens and I just I just didn't feel right. So anyway, I started running. I always ran, but I started running longer distances.
Mhm.
And I found that that helped me clear my head and I felt better. And at that time, I had also gotten on ADHD medicine. And then I was like, I feel great. I was like, let's go, like I'm good. So then I'm thriving, I'm thriving. I get done I got done whatever with school in Columbus, and then I moved to Toledo to start to do. I was going to be a PTA, a physical therapist assistant. That's what I wanted to continue my career. In the meantime, while I was in Columbus, I became a Stop Pilates certified instructor, which was great. I guess that's probably the path that led me down the whole PTA route, because Stop Pilates has a lot to do with therapy. So again, on the Adderall, I'm thriving. I go to school in Toledo, thriving. But I didn't really have a lot of social relationships because I was taking all this Adderall. And, if you take a lot of Adderall, it just hyper focuses you. And that's,
yeah.
So, I mean, I was like, I would wake up, work out all day, and study all day. So it was like treadmill, papers, me all day. And then I had to go to school from 5 to like 10 p.m.
Right.
But that was what my day was. Not a lot. Like I had 2 really good girlfriends. Like, thank God. God has always kind of put people in my life, because if I want to be a hermit, I am good at being a hermit.
Yeah, I feel you.
Right? Like he will place people in there and be like, no, you're not going to be a hermit. You are going to have these people and they're going to help you along your journey.
Yeah.
So those 2 girls were there. I was running a lot. I started running marathons. I was doing great. I felt good about myself, my body, everything. But then I realized I was like, I'm pretty obsessive over everything that I'll get so obsessed about either running or school or whatever that I wouldn't make, like I said, I wouldn't make time for people. So I was like, well, that's not going to work either. So I was like, I got to get out of this little habit, which I didn't get out of that habit. I ended up graduating from Toledo, moved to Cleveland. And in Cleveland, I got a job as a physical therapist assistant and a personal trainer at Lifetime.
Okay.
And there's where I met this woman named, well, I guess her name doesn't really matter. Gosh, what was her name though? She was actually very influential in my life, but if I could remember what her name was, it'll come
back to you. It'll come back to
me. But she was nuts. She was a psychopath, but she was very holistic, very like max extreme. And there was this guy that worked with her. His name was Tom. I do remember his name. And we call him Tom the Food Guy. And he was a raw food vegan. So at that time, I was like, all right, I'm going to be a raw food vegan, because it just seems like that's what everybody here is doing. It seems like it's a good idea. And I mean, not that everybody there looked healthy, but the way that they made it sound, like they explained a little bit about like what cooking food does and all that, blah, 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 and how everything needs to be raw. I'm not really taking into consideration, we live on this toxic planet now, and glyphosate and all what, blah, blah, blah. Even if it was organic, how organic is it really? I'm not taking it all into consideration. I just become this raw food vegan. Sunday was her name.
There you go.
Sunday Homits. Love you, Sunday Homits, if she's in there. She's great. So anyway, I become this raw food vegan, and I became, oh my gosh. Oh, and I got all the Adderall gone, because I am now a holistic person. So I cold turkey cut the
turkey.
Cold turkey. I was like, no way. Because Sunday Homers was like, no way, Natalie, you cannot take that. It's frying your brain. Like, and I was like, okay. She was just so eccentric and crazy. But for some reason, I believe what she said. She was older too. I don't know. There's something drew me to her I believe what she was saying. So I was like, all right, I'm cold turkey. I'm off the Adderall. And I'm a raw vegan now. So I was already pretty skinny, and then I obviously I'd gotten even more skinnier at that point. I was still running, I was still doing everything.
So how long are you a raw vegan for?
Oh man, so the raw part probably lasted maybe like a year. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was not good. It was hard. I would have my cheat day. I probably had enough cheat days to kind of stay. Not whatever cheat, I would go home. Like if I come to my parents' house, it's kind of like a free for all, because they have of just whatever here, that whatever diet plan I'm on is off when I'm here. So probably had enough of those to where I was okay. But the vegan part lasted like 10 years, which is
wow.
yeah. So I was 25 when I started, and I was like I'm 37 now, and I probably stopped the veganism. Maybe it wasn't 10 years, but the veganism probably stopped when I started training for an ultra marathon when I was around 33. And that's when I started incorporating like eggs, or whatever. So yeah, basically all that happened. But I did notice with the veganism and all that, like my face I was breaking out. I looked horrible. And in the meantime of all this, it was so hard for me to wake up, get out of bed, and go to work in the morning. I would not sleep at night. I would be able to sleep until 3 p.m. if somebody let me. Like if I didn't have to like get up and go to work, like I would have to force myself to get out of bed. And I would have to force myself. I would go to bed at like 3 a.m. No problem. I would eat one meal a day at probably 9 or 10 p.m. And it'd be this big raw vegan meal. Go to sleep. And obviously, of course, like how are you going to wake up in the morning? You know, like my circadian rhythm was so whack, but I'm quite stubborn. So I was in denial that anything was wrong with me. I'm like, I'm fine. Okay. Like I can do, because everybody always says, you know what I mean? You need to have your first meal of the day. I mean, that's just really a general principle in the fitness world. Like, you know, eat small meals throughout the day, whatever. They say 5 meals, 3 meals, whatever. It's during the day though. And people would talk about circadian, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I was fit. I was fine. You know what I mean? Like I was like, skinny. It's like I like my body, you guys, you know, mind you, like I can't wake up in the morning, you know, I feel bloated all the time, you know, like my brain fog is crazy, but I look good. So, or in my head or whatever.
Yeah. Did you know when you were doing all the raw food or like doing the veganism for that length of time, did you notice anything change in your hormones though?
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't have period. So periods were gone. Like no period at all. And there was a chiropractor that was involved with, and he was in the Sunday Tom crew. And I had gone to him, and he was one of those chiropractors. He didn't crack your spine. So he's actually a really good chiropractor. He did this flicking thing behind your ear. I don't know what it was, but somehow it worked. I don't know what it was, but I had mentioned to him, I was like, yeah, so I don't really have a period. And he's like, you know what? That's fine. It will come back when you need to have a baby. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever, if you say so. I was like, then I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do. Just looking for, you know, affirmations that what I'm doing is right. Because I know everything, you know. So as long as you affirm me, I'm good to go. Terrible. Okay. So, I mean, I would get a period like every now and then, but it was far few in between when I would get a period. And I just started living life like that. I was like, yeah, I just don't get periods. So anyway, I feel like now we need to like fast forward the story because it could get really long. So
no, you can keep going. It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. People are getting to know you, so it's all good.
I know there's a lot there, right? So yeah, that was with the whole veganism and all that. Like, I guess I did start to kind of worry about. I mean, from time to time, I would be thinking. I mean, granted, I was still in my 20s. I wasn't trying to have a baby. I mean, probably the time I started to really think about it, I'd gotten in a relationship, and I was like, I'd fallen in love, and I was thinking, you know, we could get married or whatever. And obviously we want to have kids. And I was like, well, I should probably start thinking about having a period. So that was before 2020. And I had just started thinking about things I could do to get my period like more regular. So I just started introducing like different foods, not changing the way the times or anything like that. I just started adding in more foods and taking other foods out, which I don't even know what the foods were. They were just whatever, more carbohydrates, more yams, or whatever they would say to get your period jumped up or whatever. And none of that really worked. I was still, I don't know if I really think it was because my circadian rhythm was so jacked. My body had no clue what time it was.
Yeah. Like
there was, you know, literally waking up, like on the weekends, like I said, if I could wake up at 3, I would wake up at 3. It was just everything was off. And then I did finally go and get blood work done. And they were like, yeah, your hormones are pretty tanked right now. So, but they didn't really, their plan was birth control. And so I would get on birth control from time to time, but then I was like, I didn't like the way that made me feel. So just got off that and whatever. But finally, me and that guy who I thought I was going to, have babies with, we ended up breaking up. And I met this other man who was more in tune with everything that we're in tune with now.
Right.
Like the circadian stuff, he had it down. He was already wearing blue blockers. This was probably 2018, 2019. He was telling me, you should probably start eating meat. He was still like, he would run with me. Like we had started training for just any kind of a run. We would just train and go running. He was like, maybe I'll do a marathon, blah, blah, blah. That eventually turned into us doing an ultra marathon together. But it was still 2018 to 2019 where he was just introducing me to these ideas. So that's when I was like, all right, I really have to change my diet and my lifestyle. So it all kind of went back to diet and exercise. Never once was I like, did the circadian rhythm thing click? Like I never really found it that big of a problem that I could go to bed so late and wake up so late and that I was only eating one meal a day. Like that is so wrong. Like if somebody tells me that now, I'm like breakfast was out of the question. I would never eat. It took me so long to get out of that cycle of not having my last meal be at, 10 p.m. to go to sleep. Like I wouldn't be able to go to sleep on an empty stomach or like a half full stomach. I had to be like max gill full to lay down. So getting out of that was like, and that was only last year. So mind you, like this is all pretty new, because I only found the whole circadian thing. Yeah. Like last 2023, I guess.
Yeah.
Whenever that Jack podcast came out, whatever, with Rick Rubin.
That was about 2 years ago.
Yeah. So whatever. But back to Zach was his name. Zach was the guy that had he was already into all the like circadian stuff. So we had started training for this ultra marathon during 2020. That's when that happened. And I was like, 2020 is my dream. Like literally, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to wake up. I can literally work out all day, and nobody's going to get upset. It was like, I'm living my dream. Could not have been the worst. It was the worst thing possible, but it was like the punch in the face that I needed to be like, Natalie, you cannot overstress your body like this and think that it's going to work in your favor.
Yep.
So I was going into it thinking that I was going to be in the best shape of my life. And I was, but I hated, it was like, I felt like I got bulky because I was doing these hills. It was like my body is it can get pretty anabolic. If I overdo it, it's like, all right, we're going to grow. And I'm like, this is not what I want. Okay. I didn't get into this for this. I don't want to be bigger. Running 100 miles, I got bigger. I was like, what is going on? Like, it was not good. So, but whatever, with that, I started, my love for the outdoors came because I was going to these running retreats that were up in the mountains. And I was like, oh my, what are these mountains? I'd never been to the mountains before. The first one we went to was in Tahoe. And I was like, I think I'm a tree hugger now. This is I was like, what is this? What is this outside? Because I would stay inside all day. I would wake up and just work out in my apartment. I wouldn't even step outside. I mean, sometimes I wouldn't even have the windows open because I would do like seated or like sauna trainings in my apartment. So sometimes I wouldn't even open the windows.
Whoa.
I cringe at the thought now, but yeah, it was so bad. So yeah, I feel like I'm overly.
No, you can't overshare here at all. So when was that moment then that you had that epiphany moment of stumbling across the Jack Cruz podcast and that light bulb moment?
So I guess after the 100-miler and everything, after the 100-miler and realizing that like I was like, so now I'm worse off. Like I'm like my period's still not here. I'm all overtrained. I don't know how to work out now because I just overextended my body. And so then I went down these rabbit holes of trying to figure out like, what do I do now to get myself together? So then I went down, I went to the full extreme, like during whatever the 100-mile, I did start eating meat and then I became full on carnivore.
Yeah.
Thought that was the way to go. That's definitely not the way to go. But I was trying out all these different diet methods. I was keto, whatever, just because I wanted to feel good, and I was like, because nothing's making me feel good now. I don't know how to exercise. I don't know how to eat. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's down. I was all confused.
Yep.
So I guess it would have been maybe not February, maybe November, December. I binge podcasts. Like I love podcasts. Same. That's what I would do on like my runs, my hikes. I would just watch podcasts. and I always watched Huberman, and then Jack came on. It was Jack and whatever that guy's. Yeah, Rick Rubin. And that podcast came on, and I was like, and then they started talking about the light piece, and I was like, that's the only thing I have not incorporated. Everything else I've done. I've been vegan, I've been raw vegan, I've been carnivore, I've done the ultra marathons, I've done every single kind of workout that you could possibly do. I still feel all kinds of wonky. My brain's just all over the place. I didn't want to get back on any, Adderall or anything like that. And I'm like, I am missing the light piece. So I obviously go down this huge rabbit hole of all the Dr. Jack Kruse podcasts. And I'm like, not that I'm thinking that he's God, but at this time I was quite the follower of Jack Kruse. Now, mind you, there's I won't even get into that, but Jack Kruse has a personality that I can appreciate. I can appreciate it because he's hit you hard with it, and so I ran with that, and I changed my whole life, and I expected everybody else to change their lives too. Because I was like, all right, we are waking up with the sun. We are blocking blue light at night. And I am basically living outside. And all my clients, you guys are doing the same. Okay. Like we're working out outside. All the windows are open no matter what. I didn't know how to do the light bulb situation. I was like, what lights do I need to have on in the background or whatever? But I spent so much money on light bulbs trying to figure out how to be indoors with lights. It was just madness. But I did notice that I could wake up early. It was so hard in the beginning though, Mark. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Going to bed early and waking up early for that sunrise. It started with me literally waking up, rolling out of bed, going outside, looking at the sunrise for maybe 1 or 2 minutes, going back inside and going to bed. Because honestly, I couldn't do it. I was like, okay. I think I was sorry.
Oh, good.
I think I stayed out there in the beginning for it would be like 15 minutes. And then, I would go back in and I would go to bed until whatever, 10 o'clock. But it progressively got easier. Mm-hmm. And then I started to notice I was calmer and that my life, it just felt easier. It felt like I didn't have to always overdo and overextend. Mm-hmm. Now the eating part with that, because then he's got all these things that you have to do. Mm-hmm. And he's so strict with his protocol that I'm like, oh my gosh. So now you can only eat seasonal. You can only eat what grows there. You have to basically live outside, all these things. So I'm trying to, and then don't eat at night. And I'm like, oh, that's the only time I eat. I eat one meal a day and it's at night. So slowly transition to having something small in the morning. I would literally just start by eating I would cut up ground meat into 4 little cubes, and I would take a bite of it in the morning. And then I would always wake up in the morning after I would, watch my sunrise, go to sleep. And then I would wake up and do my little morning routine outside. So I always did have a morning routine outside, but it was usually at 10 or 11. It was never at 6 or 7 or 8 or any of that. So that was sleeping time, the most vital time that you should be outside, which is crazy. But slowly started incorporating that in, and it just started to really feel better. And I was like, okay, wow. But it took a long time. It's still a work in progress. Actually, it didn't really click with me that other people even did this lifestyle until I went to solar culture. I thought I was a lone wolf here. I was like, no, but I'm not gonna have any friends, boyfriend, because now I can't even go watch a movie at night. What about dinner? Dinner at night, that's out. We're gonna have to start having breakfast dates.
Can't go and see shows. Can't go to see a concert.
Right, I can't do anything. So that was a bit hard. Let me adjust this. I feel like I totally messed this up here. Sorry, guys. Okay.
It's all good. So how long? Okay, let me rephrase that question. With all the things that you had to implement, obviously the eating breakfast in the morning was a hard one for you, but what else did you find initially was difficult, but then saw a really good return on that effort?
Well, the sunrise, obviously. Sunrise it shouldn't have been that hard, but obviously that was, once, you get summer and you see the colors, the awe that you get from that every morning, you're like, Lord, this is why they say that people in the Bible, they wake up in the morning and they seek the Lord, because whoa, the purple, the pink, all the colors are there. And I'm like, I can't believe I would sleep through this. I would actually sleep through this magic in the morning. So the sunrise was probably the hardest. And then the second hardest was obviously blocking the blue light at night, because I was like, what the heck am I going to, like, what? And it was still February. So it was still, getting dark at like 5:30. And I was like, I just can't turn the lights on. And then I had my clients coming over, and I was like, you guys, we can't turn the lights on. Like, Natalie, we can't see here. We're like, we're not living this lifestyle. And I was like, but you are if you're with me, just stubborn Natalie. So whatever, I had red lights everywhere, and they actually were really great. My clients are awesome. They adjusted. They were like, all right, Nat, I guess we're working on red light. Like I would buy.
Did they start following that at the same time as well then, or did it take you a little bit of time to convince them to start doing it as well?
I mean, I'm sure that they weren't doing it at home, but when they came over, they accepted that I was doing this, and that like I would like the red light on while we are working out at 7 p.m. so that hopefully both of us can get a good night's rest tonight. So I have this one client, Dean, and he is so amazing. He is my pride and joy, Dean. He's my latest client, and he comes over every Wednesday, and he's just so sweet and so just open to any of my crazy ideas. And he came over one day and he saw all the red lights, and he's like, no, what's going on? I was like, Dean, we got to do this so we can go to sleep. And he's like, all right, now we're doing it. Like, so, and he honestly, now he does his best to come over earlier, if he can, but he works late too. But I did buy him a pair of red, I actually got him those red glasses that people use, like in, not construction, or what are those warehouse glasses?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I was like, you have to wear these so that you can go to sleep at night too, Dean. And he's like, my wife's not going to have that, but I try. But yeah, so at least they accept me. So that's always a good thing.
So do you teach this to them as well, and do you like give them tips as to what they can do to optimize in that way, or do you just not say anything to them about it all?
Oh no, I mean, I wouldn't say I teach them. I would say this is what I've learned, this is what I'm doing, kind of try to lead by example, because I am a pusher in like my family, my boyfriend, I'll be like, okay, no, this is, because I'm like, we're together every day, we gotta do this, we got blah, blah, blah. But with the people, I am a little, more, I guess, lax with my clients. I'm like, this could be a good idea if you wanted to try it, it could help you. If you want to start blocking blue light at night, that might help you go to sleep. If you want to start watching sunrise, like I started watching sunrise, and now I can wake up in the morning and I feel good, and I don't need a bunch of stimulants to be able to get through the day. So I just offer it as like, this is what I'm doing in my life. So I try to more so live it like as an example with them. Yeah. Whereas in my family and, my relationships, I might be more of a pusher, which is not good. I don't recommend that. Something I'm working on. That's for sure.
Yeah. So once you've started applying all these things, and obviously you had the skin issues beforehand, and you had the sleeping in late and needing to have stimulants and complete hormone disruption, how has it all been since you've applied all this circadian and quantum stuff? How's all that been going?
Oh my gosh, so much better. So much. It's like a breath of fresh air. I couldn't believe that this was it. It was so simple, so easy. So literally, okay, so this was last year, right? Periods were still off. I got to kind of get my timeline right. So February, start watching the sunrise. Boom. I had gotten my blood work back, and my blood work, I got to put this. So when I was carnivore, I had, I went down this whole rabbit hole of eating organs, and I started eating thyroid, and that was terrible. I would eat thyroid, testicles, ovaries. I would eat all the hormonal ovaries out of the cow, which was not great for my hormones. Even worse. So my thyroid went and got my numbers done, because in this whole scheme before I found Jack Cruz's podcast, I was eating the thyroid. I got so skinny. I was like, I saw a picture. I went to Granada with me and my girlfriend, and I looked like skin and bones, and I didn't even realize it. But I was keto, and I was eating because it was like winter. So I was I didn't even know about seasonal eating. I was just keto because I was getting out of carnivore. and I was eating the thyroid, super skinny. So my period's still completely gone. Went to the doctors, got blood work back, and my thyroid numbers, my T3 was like off the charts, and my TSH was so low. Everything was crazy wonky, and my all my female hormones were off. Everything was crazy, and I was telling the doctors what I was doing. He's like, "Okay, well, you need to stop all of that," and I was like, "Okay." So I stopped all of that. Then went back 3 months, maybe like a month later. No, it was a month later, and then my thyroid numbers were then completely the other direction. And I was like, well, that's not good either, obviously. And then I went on this journey to fix my thyroid. Like I had a thyroid issue. I didn't have a thyroid issue. I was eating thyroid. Then my body was obviously adjusting to get back to, regular here, finding a nice homeostasis. So anyway, I did find Cruz's podcast in the mix of all that. So because he was like, if you go get that morning sun, it will fix your thyroid. And I found Sarah Kleiner and all those ladies, and they were like, you got to get your morning sun, it'll fix your thyroid. I was like, all right, boom, got it. So anyway, it took a while for the thyroid, not gonna lie to you. Like that one, I kept going. I didn't wait long enough to get the blood work. I kept going back like every month, and then it would change little bits by little bits. And I was like, oh, yeah. And it was like, and then I was getting frustrated with that. And I was like, oh my gosh, my thyroid, what did I do to my thyroid? Like finally, probably right before his solar culture, I went and got all my numbers, and everything was back on I was getting my period every month on the dot. It was like a 26, 28 day cycle. And I was like, oh my gosh, like everything, like, and my skin finally like looked good and clear. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I would still get like, breakouts or whatever. Like if I would like stress out and blah, blah, blah. And I'll put my blue blockers on, and I'll get out. I'll go through the hallway with all my stuff on, like I'm a robber, like I'm about to leave steals, and I'll get in the car, and it's not good. I don't recommend this, but I'll go driving with my red blue blockers on.
Whoa.
Right. I know it's not. I mean, I feel like I can see. I mean,
I can.
Fine. Right.
Yeah, I can.
About it. So, but I wouldn't recommend that to anybody else, But I do until I get to my spot, my little park spot, and then I'll watch sunrise, eat my breakfast, hang out there as long as I can until I have to start taking clients, and then have my clients. I make sure I have a window during the day. It's fine, we have a window open, or at least if it's winter. They don't know this, but I'll have a little baby crack in that window, like this much. Sometimes I'll try to turn on like a red. I have like that chroma red light, but then I'm like, it turns off every 15 minutes. So sometimes I'll keep it on, but usually it's just like a crack in the window, and then I'll take my little light breaks throughout the day, kind of a deal. But yeah.
So how do you manage the social side of it?
Well, so that was a little difficult in the beginning because I was so hyper focused on having to do all these things right, because I felt like I had to really fix myself that I was like, I don't want to go out at night. And I'll still have trouble with that sometimes, where I'm like, I really don't want to go to this huge concert with all these lights that are going to be blasting at me in this, whatever arena. But I guess after you have the extreme mode where you're so hyper focused on it, you realize like there is balance in here. There is fluidity. Like, obviously I wish everybody lived like me, but you know what I mean? Like,
daytime concerts, please.
Right. Like, hello, why are we not having this at noon? I don't it's friendly if we could be doing this at noon.
Would be nice.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like Teddy Swims is playing. Like I'm going to Teddy Swims, Like,
amazing. When's that?
What's that?
When's that?
It's actually on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Outside.
That's one outside.
Outside, yes.
Okay.
I know. So it'll be fantastic. I'll have my blue blockers on, but it'd be great. I'm going with my girlfriend, so I can't wait.
Oh, incredible. And how are they with all the changes that you've made?
So my family knows I'm crazy, because not that this is even crazy, by the way. I just think it's just not
it appears crazy to other people.
Right, because it's not the norm. But I've never been with the norm. I tried it. It didn't work out for me. My family, they're like, okay, whatever. Natalie's going to be in here with her blue blockers or whatever. My friends, same. If you're my friend, you're going to know I'm a bit out there. I'm a bit different. And even some of my friends, like I bought my best friend a pair of blue blockers, and she'll wear them sometimes, and they have, they want to know, like, okay, like, you know, what will help with this, what will help with that. You know, they started grounding more, getting more sunlight in their eyes and all that fun stuff. Romantic relationships can be interesting. So currently I'm dating a man, and he's great. He loves that. He loves me, and I love that he's adopted some of the principles, even though I know it's so hard for him. He's like, I don't think it's just not natural to him. Yeah. And I used to get, and sometimes I still will, I'll get really frustrated and be like, why can't you be like me? But I have to remember, like, it took me so long to get here. And I'm still working. Like yesterday, I caught myself washing my hair with Tresemme. That is so toxic. Okay. That's why it just made me laugh and think, I'm like, I'm over here trying to change, you know, I'm trying to make Corey change everything in his life overnight, when it took me years to even adopt this. And I'm still learning how to adopt, you know, different pieces of all this. So I can't expect people to change like that or at all. I have to remember that this is me. I'm me. They're them. We can live a life together and be different as long as we respect each other. So, but so he's actually been really great. Like at night, he calls it light discipline. He'll be like, all right, we got it, because he was in the army and all that. He's like, all right, we got light discipline going on here. And he'll wear the little headlamp that I got him, and he'll light candles. And so so bless him for that. But before him dating and stuff, like I would just try to hide it and be like, yeah, I'm cool with going out and doing all this and whatever. I remember going on a date, and we went to some concert, and it was a nightmare. It was the loudest music. I don't even know what the band was, but it was a horrible band. It was so loud, and there were so many lights, and I was freaking out. I need to go home. But
after one song, can we go now?
I was like, okay, yeah, this was fun, but it's definitely past my curfew. I gotta go. But yeah, it is different. How do you manage that?
So again, my friends know that I live this lifestyle, and so they know that I won't be out after a certain time most of the time. So obviously, like you say, it's all about that balance. It's that 80-20 principle, right? It's like 80% of the time I'm going to live like this, and then I've got that 20% flex where I can do what I want to do. Because the last thing we want to do is be fragile, where we are so tightly bound to our way of living that if we can't do those things, we collapse into a capitulating mess. The body needs to be anti-fragile. It needs to have that ability, like a bamboo, to bend and flex in the wind. You don't want to be like a solid oak tree that the second a strong wind comes in, you fall over. So I let them know that's how I live my life. And if I get invited to, say, I don't know, like a lot of my friends have got kids and stuff, so if they invite me to like a kid's birthday party, I know that's going to be an early finish. So I'm like, cool, fantastic, we'll be done by 3. That's amazing. But if we're doing like a barbecue, or if I have friends come over or something like that, I know it's going to be late. And in those instances, I'm like, I've got all the tools that I need to balance this out. So they'll know I'll sit here with my orange glasses on. I won't sit here with the red lens glasses on, because if a second I put the red ones on, I'll be asleep within half an hour. Right. So I can't put those on. So I'll be here with my orange ones on. And if there's lights, I'll try and cover up as much skin as possible. For everyone that's listening, the reason why that is because you've got non-visual photoreceptors in your skin. So they pick up the light signals at the same time as the eyes do. So I try and cover that if I can. But again, like in the summer, when it's like 20 odd degrees, I'm not going to be sitting indoors covered head to toe, because I'm just going to be a complete sweating mess. So again, it's just finding that balance. And the second, like if I go into somewhere in London and I don't get home until very late, like I might not get home until like 11, and I'm coming back on the train and all the trains are lit up with all the lights, you've got all the EMF coming off the train. The second I get in, red lens glasses go on. None of my lights are on anyway, so it'll all be red lit anyway, or candles. And within half an hour of being in, I'm feeling tired. So I will then go to bed, and I will wake up naturally at exactly the same time that I wake up every morning, which is just before the sun rises. And I'll do the same thing. So granted, that day I will be more tired because of the fact that I've not got as much sleep, but I won't go to bed earlier. I'll just go to bed at the same time as I normally do, because I'm not going to go to, like right now, the sun sets at like 9 o'clock. So I'm not going to be going to bed at like 9. It's still light out. Like right. I'm not 5, right? It's not happening. So I will still go to bed at the appropriate time. and my body will just regenerate as it needs to. So I think, as you say, we've got to have this flexibility, because the one thing that we can become is very, and I spoke about this on a podcast on Wednesday, is how we have to do things in extremes, because your story mirrors mine very closely. Like the carnivore, the eating one, like did the warrior diet, did the OMAD, did carnivore, did keto, all that stuff. Like I've done it all. And when I was a personal trainer doing like 75 hours a week, I slept from midnight until 4:30 in the morning. I barely ate real food. It was literally like oats with protein in milk. That was pretty much all I ate all day. And I would be in a gym under red light, well, artificial light all day long. And I'd have one main meal, and that would be when I get home at 10:30 at night. I'm sat there with like big steaks and eggs because I'm following carnivore or something, and I'm packing in as much food as I possibly can, then going to sleep with my belly full. By the time that I wake up, I'm not hungry because I literally only ate 4 hours ago. Oh, right. So my breakfast was like a massive big black coffee going to the gym at 5:30 in the morning. So I was exactly the same as you. So I understand this extreme where when people are listening to this, they will be thinking, oh my God, that's so extreme. And it is to a degree, but it's no more extreme than being vegan or being carnivore, or, you know, our work environment where we're working 10 hours, 12 hours a day and getting very little sleep and all that. It's no more extreme. It's just different. And when you lay it out and think about the simplicity of it, it's just getting up with sunrise, seeing the sun, bare feet on the grass, or like tree hugging, so you're getting all the electrons, then getting on with your day. If you're indoors, opening a window, not too extreme, changing these horrible LED lights to incandescent old school bulbs that we would have had when we were kids in our homes, no big thing. Buying a pair of glasses which blocks certain light out. Okay, people wear glasses all the time. You know, if they can't see properly, they wear glasses. You're not going to look at somebody that's watching TV but like, what you got glasses on for? Right? So like, it's not that extreme. And then the food side of things, that's the thing that makes more sense than most of it, is eat the things that are in season. Okay, that makes sense, because I'm not going to eat a banana in the middle of the UK in winter, because we don't have bananas here, so that makes sense. Try and make it local. Okay, so I'm supporting the people that grow the food and everything around here rather than buying it from a big supermarket. Cool. Unprocessed. Okay, well, that makes sense, because I don't want to be filling my body full of chemical and crap anyway. Okay, that's it. Seasonal, local, unprocessed. All right, good. That makes sense to me. So that doesn't change how I eat. It just changes the food that I eat, in the sense of, rather than buying, I don't know, like a ready cooked burger thing in a packet, I'm just buying the beef patties and I'm making it myself. Like that's no different to what my grandparents would have done when I went to see them. They would have got food from their garden and they would have picked the veg and they would have chopped it up and grew it in the greenhouse and whatever. Like, it's no different. So it does seem extreme the way that we talk about these things, but it's not that extreme when you think about it. But we do have to have that flex. We do have to have that ability to be like, okay, well, we're not prospectors living in 1840. We do have to live in the modern world. We do have to be around technology. We do have to have all these modern things around us. But what can we do just to make the damage a little bit less? What are the things that we can apply in our lifestyle? Which makes it more health friendly for us. And that's all we have to do. So it doesn't have to be majorly extreme. But I'm like you. I'm very pushy with my family. I'm very like with my family. I'm very just like, I'd like you to live for a long time. So please.
I love you.
Right? I love you and I want you to live for a long time. Please put the blue light glasses on. The red light panel I've bought you because you don't want to go outside at sunrise. I get it. Just please put that on because I want, and please don't eat that packaged crap. Just buy it yourself and cook it. Like all that stuff. Like I'm very much like that. It's very judgy and I don't mean to be, but it's done out of love. It's always done out of love.
No,
right?
I think that's what that is. I think the reason why, like with our family and with those that we genuinely love so much, that we push it on them so much, is because we want them to be around. Like the last thing I want is for my parent, like my dad is my everything. My mom, my family, I'm so close with them. And, and my boyfriend, Corey, I love them so much. Like it makes me tear up to even think about anything happening to them. So the only reason I push these things on them is because I'm like, I just want you to be healthy forever so we can be together.
Exactly.
I don't want to be alone without you.
I don't want to live till we're 200 years old and you not be here.
Right. I was like, can we just do this together? Like,
Exactly. No, exactly. So it's always done out of love. And I think it's one of those things of, if there are people in your life that you can help and you don't, and something happens, then what? If you could have told them what to do, if you could have helped them and you didn't, it would be the same as seeing somebody fall over outside, like an old person that's walking past them and not picking them up.
yeah.
You'd feel bad.
Right.
You just want to help. And so it's that case of like, well, I have this knowledge. You've seen how it's impacted me and how it's changed my life and how much better health-wise I am. Just do these things. It's not a difficult thing to do. Like, just try it out. Because again, I'd like you to be here for like the next 300 years. So please try these things out, right? So I can everything that you're saying, I mirror back to you 100%, because it's exactly the same. We've gone from this very extreme fitness, like mine was all CrossFit. Mine was like CrossFit 2.5 hours every day. During lockdown, the same. I turned my whole flat into a gym. And I trained every single day. I'd go for marathon long runs every day. I would train in the morning. Going to be sat here like, right, so what am I going to do now? Okay, I'm just going to go for a run. And I would just run. And then I'd wake up the next day and be like, oh, God, I can't move. I'm so sore. What am I going to do? I'm going to train. So, I mean, like, it was just so stupid. But,
why wouldn't you?
Right? If I can, why wouldn't I? But now, I mean, this is what I was actually going to ask you. Do you train the same way with that same level of intensity now as what you did then? Or have you changed the way that you train now?
Oh gosh, it's totally different. I'm so much more relaxed now. So much more. I used to feel like I had to go on a run, or I had to do, my workouts were so regimented. I had everything planned out to a T. And my days, I'm telling you, if I wasn't working, I was working out. Like there was no in between. And if I had to do something where I couldn't get that workout in, I would be getting it in at 9 o'clock at night. Like it was getting done. So I started, I mean, genuinely, like with the going out to the park and blah, 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 like there was only so much you can do out there. You know, I can't take my reformer out there. I do bring my weights out there and all that. But after a while, I didn't feel like I was like, well, if I work out this late, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. And then I'm not gonna be able to wake up in the morning. I'm not gonna feel as good. So then I started looking around me. I was like, nobody else is this extreme. Like, why do I have to do this all day? Like, what is it about me that I have to work out for, the whole day to get any benefit, while other people can just go to the gym for an hour and be cool? But no, if I don't have a 2-hour run, a 3-hour workout, and then another 2-hour just cool down, then I'm not going to be fit. Like that. I was like, this, it started clicking with me that just didn't make sense. It was almost like I was so blue lit toxic or whatever, low dopamine, that it didn't click with me that normal people don't work out all day long. Like God didn't make us to work out all day. He made us for community, to be together. You can have your little time. Yes, you need to move, but there's balance in life, and working out is important. You know what I mean? But I guess, back in the caveman days or whatever, it was more so just living. If you can live close to how, our ancestors did or whatever, if you can wake up with the sunrise, eat a normal meal, if you go on walks, even if people don't work out, as long as you're living,
as long as you're active.
Yeah. As long as you're active or living just a healthy lifestyle, with circadian friendly lifestyle, you really don't have to work out that much. I mean, there's a certain look, obviously, that comes with working out. Like you're not going to get abs or like a cut, ripped up body by just walking outside and looking at the sunrise. You're not. Like there is some work you have to put in there if you want to have a certain look. But if you do just want to be generally fit and healthy, I do think all you really need is to have a good circadian rhythm, eat good, locally sourced food, along like seasonally, locally, support your local farmers here, people. But yes, I feel like if you do that, then you're going to look pretty good, And so, that has definitely calmed down dramatically. And I feel like I've made more time for relationships and friends.
Yeah.
That's probably why me and Corey are in the place that we are now, because before that, I didn't have time for a relationship. I was doing Natalie. I was working out all day. I didn't have time. I was like, are you going to come work out with me? Because I don't know when I'm going to have time for you. Like, sorry. So yeah, no, that's changed. I still definitely get my workouts in. I still like to run, but I don't have to run every day. I don't have to do, but I break it up now more, and I feel better than ever, and I feel like I look better than ever. So it's kind of amazing.
your body's got more time to recover.
Right.
You're not beating up all the time. And this was the thing. Like I always used to, I asked myself this question with my type of training again. Like, why was I doing these marathon runs? Why was I doing CrossFit 2 hours a day, which was just beating the shit out of me? And I came across this question, and I asked this to my clients as well when it comes to training, because they're the same. The clients that come to me, and you might have the same thing. They're on like £1,000 worth of supplements a day. They're taking everything and doing everything. They've got a pre-workout with like 1,000,000 milligrams of caffeine, and they've already had 7 espressos, and they're all very type A. And they've got this goal of wanting to look a certain way. I'm like, cool, I get it. Right, I get it. But may I ask a question? And this was the question I asked myself. Am I doing this because I love my body, or am I doing this because I hate my body? Because the answer to that question is going to give you a very different response. Oh, look, balloons. It's going to give you, don't know what that's about. The universe is loving this question.
Love that.
It's going to be giving you a very different response in your body, because if you go into the gym and you're doing it to punish yourself because you hate yourself, your cells, your body knows that. So the stress, the cortisol, everything just gets even more jacked than what it would be if you went in there being on the mindset of, I'm doing this because I want to be fitter and I want to be stronger.
Yeah.
It's not about how I look in the end, because the look will come. The person who enjoys walking is going to walk further than the person that loves the destination, right? So the change will come, the composition will come if you do it because you love and support your body rather than because you hate your body. So whether you're going in and you're underweight or whether you're going in and you are overweight, you're doing it because you love yourself enough that you know that you need to make that change. That's the big change that I had. And I'm the same as you now. Like if I'm in the gym for longer than an hour, I want to go home. I don't want to be there. I've got 1,000,001 other things that I want to be doing other than being here right now. So this is why now I have somebody programmed for me, because if I write it, I'll be there all day. Right. So I'm just like, I need to be here for an hour. Don't give me loads to do, but give me like that minimal effective dose, which gets me the most from that session. And I'll go 3 to 4 times a week. That's it. And if I can go 3, brilliant. If I have to do 4, fine. Well, not have to. If I get to do 4, fine.
Right.
But it's now about that longevity piece, in the sense of like, I want to be doing this for the rest of my life. And I don't want to be to the point where I can't move because my shoulders hurt or my elbow hurts or I'm too tight in my chest. I'm all just like morphed out of shape because I've trained a body part too much, whatever the case may be. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. Right. I don't like that feeling. Right. And so I think you could probably relate to that as well, because of how you train very similar to me. Like, it's just a much nicer feeling to know that I've done the job. My body's responding. I'm looking good. I'm making the progress that I want to make. I'm seeing the returns of my effort. But now I've got all of this time, see friends, do more work, help more people, add more value to the world. That's so much more valuable to me now than, okay, yeah, I've got a 6-pack all year round. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. If I do, great. If I don't, great. Either way.
It is crazy like that. I mean, that is one thing I will say about once you're outside more and you get more connected to what God gave us outside, it just makes your brain work more clearly, to where you understand
100%.
What God wants, what He really created us for. He created us for community. He created us to be together, and the whole vibe and the frequency that we put out there, it's so important. And the vibe and the frequency that we, I guess, implement within ourselves is even more important.
Yep.
Because that it changes everything. It really, really does. It never dawned on me until I started, I guess, going outside. Crazy enough. It's crazy. It just changes your brain chemistry.
Yep. And I think the biggest switch for me was when we were in El Salvador and I was able to train in a gym that had no windows, had literally a front door just so they could lock it, but everything was open. Natural light was in there. I was stronger. I could train harder, and I had no muscle soreness the next day. Where the second I came back to the UK and I'm back in a blue lit gym, I did the same workout, literally 4 days after I landed. I did the same workout I did 4 days before. Next day, I was sore. I was like, what?
Isn't it
Like,
crazy?
doesn't make any sense. So do you notice this, that you actually prefer training or you get a better response from training outside to what you do if you're training inside?
100%. Like I stopped working out as hard and I am so much stronger, much stronger. And I do work out outside. I have this like weighted situation thing that I brought, and I can do like deadlifts and squats and whatever. I'll still work out in a gym occasionally. I know it's a nice little setup I have. So my little workout in the park, but I'm never sore. It's so like, if I'm sore ever, I'm like, well, what? It just doesn't really happen. Like I'm almost like, did I work out hard? If I'm like, I'm pretty sure I was struggling for that last rep. But yeah, I mean, I remember people saying that in the whole quantum community, that if you work outside, because of the positive electrons in the net, we're negative, the earth is positive, right? And all that.
It's both negative. It's both negative, but it's the blue light inside. It affects the mitochondrial transport chain, so you don't produce as much energy, and the mitochondria struggle to generate that ATP for you. So your muscles have to work even harder.
Okay, there you go. I was like, well, I am so strong now. I'm like, I'm so fit, and I felt like I wasn't working out at all, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would be able to go in the gym and I'd be able to throw 2 45-pound plates on the bar and squat, and I could barely do 25, like whatever that equals out to, you know what I mean, on the squat rack. But yeah, it's crazy how working out outside really does change the game. It changes everything. It's wild. I feel like our redox is higher too.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's the same as running outside or running on a treadmill.
Yeah.
If I run outside, I can run a hell of a lot further than I can if I run on a treadmill. If I run on a treadmill, within about 30 minutes, I'm like, I want to get off. It's horrible. It's torture.
Do you think about the EMFs that come off of that? Like, do you ever think about that when you're like,
100%? Well, because it's a spinning motor, right? So you've got the machine plugged in, which is giving you EMFs, and you've got a spinning motor, which you're powering, or it's powering itself. That's creating a charge at the same time. Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, so is it ever beneficial to run on a treadmill ever? Like, probably not. Is it not?
Unless you've got one of those true runners, the assault runners.
Yeah, okay.
If you've got one of those and you just happen to have a garage gym and you can wheel that sucker outside and you can do it in the light, 100%. You'd be fine with that, because there's nothing. It's not plugged in. Yeah. So there's no EMFs there. It's just a treadmill. You power it yourself. So yeah, that would work. Same as a bike. If you put a bike outside and you started pedaling, you didn't go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Same thing. You'd get the exact same benefits. Yeah.
Okay. That's going to go in the El Salvador gym. Okay.
Or of course.
Wherever that gym is going to be. 100%. We're going to have it like
100%.
Yeah. Because I will say, after getting into circadian, I stopped. Like, I have a treadmill. Granted, the elliptical is not plugged in, but I never get on that treadmill ever. Yeah. I tried in the beginning, and I would try to watch like Jack Cruz videos on the treadmill, and I would have the screen all lit, and then I'd be like, being on here feels so wrong. I was like, it just didn't, it felt horrible. So yeah, that's another thing that changed. No more running on the treadmill, which is rough in winter. Boy, winter. Okay. Yeah.
Brutal. So we both met at Solar Culture in El Salvador. So I've had quite a few people that I met from the El Salvador Solar Culture retreat on here, but I've never actually gone into too much detail about it, particularly in how it may have changed your life in that regard, because it definitely changed mine. I've spoken about it on somebody else's podcast, but I've never had somebody talk about it on mine. So I know that it meant a lot to you. So for the people that are listening that don't know what Solar Culture is, and obviously we want to give a massive respect and hello to Kira and Michaela for sorting all of that out. I'll put the Solar Culture link in the description box below for everybody. Why did you go? What happened while you were there? What did it mean to you? How did it change your life?
Well, I went because once you find this, I so passionate about it. And like we had talked about before, I just felt like nobody else around me was doing it. And I was like, I can't be the only person in the world doing this. Like me and Jack Cruz and his little people, like I can't be that all just that. So I do remember him on a podcast, and Kira was with him, and he was talking about her and how she's having this retreat. And I remember I was doing Pilates and I was watching the video, and I was like, I got to go on that retreat. So I Googled her real quick, saw that there was an application to go to solar culture. I didn't even know how much it was. I didn't care at that point. I was like, I'm going to find out, figure it out. Can't be that much, whatever. We can always make more money. So went to her website, did the application. I still to this day, I'm like thinking about who was at that event. Like, you were there, all these people, these doctors are there. You know what I mean? Alana, my roommate, she's in homeopathy. Everybody's had all these like titles. And I'm Natalie. I'm coming in. I'm the Pilates instructor from Geneva, Ohio. Like, what was I even doing there? So I can't believe I got accepted to even get in, but I did. And then
I can.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you. But like, yeah, so I was just excited to be around people that, followed this lifestyle, because I just, nobody in my life had any clue about it. I guess except for that one guy that I dated who was long gone by this point. So yeah. And then getting there and then meeting Alana and meeting Kiera, everybody was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I mean, it not like, appearance wise, it just, yeah. You know what I mean? But it was like, you could see past all it's like you immediately saw past through somebody, the external, and could see their soul and through their eyes. And they were just magical. Everybody there was magical. Nobody had bad vibes. Everybody was just this supportive spirit. And it literally, it changed my life in the way of, first of all, realizing the balance that comes with this, because I did realize we're all on this path of, health and wellness and all that, but everybody's still so different. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And you don't have to be perfect. That was the main takeaway I got, was we don't have to be perfect to live this lifestyle, but it's very, very helpful to try to implement these lifestyles, to put everything in place. So just, I feel like we're all family.
I do.
And we were there for a week, not even a week. And I feel
even 5 days. No, 6 days. 6 days.
6 days, right? And I mean, so connected. I mean, talking to you, it's like I was just with you.
Yeah, I know.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like I can't even. Me and Ohana, we talk almost every day, through WhatsApp, and I feel like I'm just so connected to everybody there. That it was just a game changer. I didn't think it was possible to find
I didn't either.
Love like that with strangers.
We've all become quantumly entangled, haven't we?
Right. That's it. I've never quantum entanglement at its finest there.
Yep.
But that was there. I've just never seen it play out like that. I mean, like they say God works in mysterious ways, and I was like, that's it. That's what it is, like boom. That was a shocker.
It was, for me, the feeling that I got was there are some times in a day or in a week or even in a moment where everything aligns so perfectly, you can't not notice it. And you're kind of like, there's something bigger at play here. Something else has orchestrated this moment or this day of mine where, I hit every green light at the traffic lights. I arrived somewhere and, I found 50 quid on the floor. Like, everything just lined up perfectly. Like, that was the most amazing day. That was solar culture for the entire process, from the moment I left to the moment I got home. Everything just was, it's like, as you say, God, the divine, the universe just orchestrated everything. So there was not a single moment where there was anything wrong.
Right.
Everything was just so perfectly aligned. Like, I've never been in there was like 32 of us there.
Yeah.
I've never been in a group that big, or even smaller than that, where there's not been one moment where somebody's not been annoyed at someone else, or somebody didn't get on with somebody else. Like, there was an energy clash of some kind.
Yeah.
There was none of that. Like, in a group of 30 plus people of all different ages, all different experiences of life, everybody got on. Every single one. And everybody joined in. There were no problems. The place was amazing. The weather was amazing. The food was amazing. The experience was amazing. The talks were amazing. There was not a single part of that where I was like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore.
Right.
It got to the end. I was like, oh.
I was so sad. Like, I mean, I never cry after leaving. I mean, I've been on enough. Like I would go on running retreats and things like that, you know, mission trips, and loved it all. But this connection, I was genuinely like, whoa, like I'm not ready to leave. Like this feels like my tribe. I'm not ready to leave these people. Like this is.
It felt home.
Yeah, it felt home. That's what it did. It felt like home. I was like, okay, like, yeah, that's the best way of describing it. And we were all so different, coming from such different backgrounds, but we all were able to just mesh. Like we all were looking for the good in each other, and you could see it.
Yeah, and everybody added value to everybody. That was the amazing thing. Like there was no hierarchy.
Yeah, that's true. There wasn't at all, actually. No.
You know, we've got me and you there, and we've also got PhDs, and we've got cardiologists, and we've got a neuroimmunologist, and then you've got someone like Sarah Pugh, or you've got Olivia Lesnar, who like helps NASA with like quantum fields and stuff, and we're just having general conversations with these people. Like everybody was on the same level, and then the next minute we're doing some improv dance. It was crazy, like, you know, and then the next minute everybody's surfing. It was nobody said no to anything. Everybody accepted everything that was there and dove straight in, head first, feet first, whichever way you want to do it.
Right.
And it was just, the energy was just incredible the whole time. And I love the fact that we're talking about this, because I think, again, Kira and Michaela need to have so much respect for what they've achieved by putting that together, because it's no mean feat to do that in your own country, let alone in somewhere, you know, we have to remember, like, Kira's in Australia and El Salvador's a very bloody long way from there. Right. So to be able to do something like that so far away, to be able to put on an event of that size, is just, it's a monumental feat. And the fact that it all seamlessly happened was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And
they're so young, right? Like,
yeah, I know.
In their 20s. I was like, girls, like, you guys are killing the game right now. I mean, meeting Kira for the first time, I was like, this is why I follow the whole circadian rhythm. She's gorgeous. And Michaela, like, oh my gosh, and her voice. And I was just like, these are the people who, yes, this is why we do all this. These are the people who I want to be around. You know, that's why this is my tribe, because I want to be like them. Like, definitely, like, I want to be like these young girls. Like, they're aspirational, 100% inspirational, 100% amazing.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put the details of Solar Culture in the description box below. There is another event that will be happening at some point. I don't know when that is, but just go to the website, sign up to the newsletter. You'll know when it's happening. I would highly recommend that you go. It's incredible. We'll all be there. I can attest to, I'm sure. So with that, I would like to ask you one last question, my darling. So for the people watching, the people listening, thinking, okay, cool, I want to give this a shot. And I've heard Nat's story. I can relate to it because she found it difficult. It was hard for her at the beginning. Now you've had the experience of doing it. And not saying if you could go back and change anything, would you? But if you were going to give somebody 1, 2, 3 bits of advice as to the best way that you feel they could start this process to realign themselves to be more circadianly rhythmed, and that's the wrong word there, but more aligned circadianly rhythmed.
Yep.
Making my own words here. Yeah, that will do. We'll go with that. More aligned circadianly, or to bring the circadian and quantum into their life. What would be your passing advice to them?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, what has always been recommended to me, and what I think it genuinely does make the most sense, is catch that sunrise. Don't miss a sunrise, you know, even if it is for just waking up and having your window open and looking out your window, you know, the eyes and all that, the palm see, whatever. It does some kind of magic in us, in our cells, in our mitochondria. You got to get that sunrise in. Even if it's waking up, looking at it and going back to sleep, whatever, your body will start to adjust. Yep. And then with that, I mean, as long as you eat with, you know, during the day, don't eat after dark, then you'll be able to sleep to be able to wake up for the sunrise. So once you start eating earlier, and keeping the lights down, dim, obviously you don't want a lot of light at night, wear your blue blockers, because then you can go to sleep. So like all this, to me, it actually does make sense. And it's pretty simple, you know, eat earlier, block the blue light at night, you'll wake up for sunrise and it'll be no problem, because you're going to probably be hungry and want to wake up and eat. So really, it's quite simple.
Yeah, Amazing, amazing. Well, Natalie, thank you so much, Madonna, for taking the time, coming on, being your beautiful self, sharing your story. And this has all been about just being so honest and open about this journey so that other people that are listening can be like, I can do that. If Natalie can do it, I can do it.
100%.
So thank you so much for sharing, my darling. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Natalie Boyd. I'll put her Instagram in the description box below. Please, if you found this valuable, please like, share, subscribe. And until the next time, stay blessed and we'll see you soon.